What's up, y'all? It's your girl Nick Robinson with the Yara Effect, back at it again. So I wasn't even going to speak on Kenya and what she did in retaliation for what Britt said. But I just don't understand people who are having sympathy for Kenya. For years, I feel that Kenya has been very antagonistic. Um, Going way back to when Kim Fields was on the show. I mean, she was totally disrespectful to Kim Fields. I mean, we all know Kim Fields is a legend in the TV game. Kenya wished she had the same type of acting career that Kim Fields had. And Kim Fields is still working, okay? Meanwhile, she's gotten fired from her gig on television, okay? So in Georgia, because we have to get to the legal side of why, Bravo may have taken her off of their platform, because what she did legally is against the law. And I'm going to read. It says, in Georgia, sharing sexually explicit images or videos without consent, known as revenge P, okay, is illegal and can result in misdemeanor charges, potentially escalating to felony charges for repeat offenses. Okay, so Bravo don't want their name on that. Absolutely not. And they showed what she did so that they can justify why they took her down. They don't want any type of, because see, at this point, Britt, she can press charges. And she can, okay, let's go down. It says, a first offense under this law is a misdemeanor carrying a potential fine of up to $5,000 and or jail time up to 12 months. So this is very serious. I don't know why y'all are trying to take up for Kenya. When Portia drags her halfway across the stage, that was, yeah, she got press charges on her. She did. And Bravo removed Portia when she did that. So why is it so different for Kenya? And then I don't understand. I get it, Candy, that's your friend. But why are you sitting here saying, oh, Bravo shouldn't do X, Y, and Z? Bravo trying to make sure that if Britt does file suit, that they're not going to be part of it. Why are people not understanding that part of it? I would have got rid of her too. Because you're a liability at this point. You're breaking laws. You have to understand every state has its own laws about certain things. Okay? So the key elements of the offense are knowledge of consent. The person sharing the image or video must know the content is sexually explicit or depicts nudity. And she did. She knew that. Lack of consent. The sharing must occur without the consent of the person depicted in the image or video. We know doggone well that Britt did not give her consent to show whatever she showed. We just know it was revenge P, like they've been saying. Okay. Purpose of harassment or financial loss. The transmission or posting must be intended to harass or cause financial loss to the depicted person and serves no legitimate purpose to the depicted person. So all of those three things are there, okay? So it says remedy for victims. Beyond criminal liability, victims may have civil remedies, including the ability to seek an injunction to remove the material and a private right of action against the perpetrator. So that's what I'm saying. There's also a civil component to this. Bravo ain't stupid. They're not trying to have this girl Britt sue them for none of this stuff. And then think about it. When someone has done a crime against you, but you're going to keep that person around, they're going to keep that person around. Like, it just opens too many doors of liability for Bravo. So, I know there's Kenya fans out there. I'm not necessarily a Kenya fan because I feel that a long time ago, she been playing this mean game of provoking people and then trying to act like she can do whatever she wants to do. And it has just caught up with her at this point. To me, she's very antagonistic. And, she did get a little better when she had her daughter. I will say that. Do I agree with what Britt said when they were in the parking lot after the event? I don't, because it's like where we're from. I'm born and raised in Georgia. I don't know if Britt is as well, but like where I'm from, when you start talking about pow-pows and you got this and that for somebody, that is considered a threat. It is. But Kenya maybe should have gone the terroristic threat route, maybe, instead of doing what she did, because now your hands are dirty. Now you've lost your job. Now you don't know where you stand with the network. Now you are out here looking bad, saying that you were defending you and your daughter. That's not how you do that. you don't defend you and your daughter by retaliating with some revenge P. So, I mean, at the end of the day, do I feel sorry for Kenya? I don't. I really don't, because she been a bully. She been a villain for years. She has. I mean, she beat up Portia with her words. She called that girl all kinds of dumb. I mean, every time you turned around, she was like coming for Portia for the longest. And how they got back cool, I don't even know, because part of the reason I stopped watching Real Houses of Atlanta was because of Kenya. I didn't like it. I didn't like the energy. She, you know, just came in and she, you know, was trying to have a moment, of course, and she says she is the moment. Well, baby, I guess the moment is done. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with her positioning with Bravo. I'm pretty sure they're waiting to see what Britt is going to do as far as any lawsuits, as far as any type of, you know, whatever Britt's rights are. But this is Georgia law. Anybody can Google this. Because I do know that in some places it can be considered sexual assault or something to that degree. But in Georgia, it is against the law to do what Kenya did. And so I'm pretty sure when you look at it from a legal standpoint, Bravo doing what they did to remove Kenya makes sense for them. Because if I own Bravo, you know, and something like this happened, and my legal team is telling me what the laws are pertaining to something like this, I'm pulling that person immediately. If you notice, they did not have her in any type of promotional event. They didn't have her picture with the cast. None of that. The few little scenes that she did do before the event at her hair spa, they did allow those to play. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure they're going to compensate her for where she, you know, came and filmed and everything like that. But her future, she wasn't thinking about the repercussions of her actions. And I know when you're in the heat of the moment of something happening, a lot of times you don't think about the legal side of things. You don't. When you're mad, you're mad. When you're hurt, you're hurt. And, you know, if she really felt that concerned about her and her daughter's safety, then you go to the police and say, hey, this person said this to me. I don't know how serious it is. I want to file a report, you know, something to that effect. All right. So I'm eager to see what Britt will do as far as any type of legal action that she may decide to take. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. For me, the show is, I know it's coming back from a hiatus. I know it's coming back from a recast. And, you know, it's a little off. But I really had to think about the fact that there are people out here really defending Kenya for her actions. We always have a choice in what we do and what we don't do. I know Kenya is the type of person where, you know, you can't really tell her anything. If you're not in agreement with her, she's going to stand strong on how she feels about things. But I just wish she had thought about it. I'm pretty sure she did not, you know, think that Bravo would get rid of her, because in her mind, she feels like she is a staple. And, you know, maybe she got too big for her britches and felt like I can do whatever I want to do. And she was quickly shown that she cannot. But what y'all think? I mean, like, what if it was you who somebody pulled out some video or what have you of you being explicit, you know what I mean, without your consent, and try to use it as you know, a weapon against you? Like, how would you feel? You know, would you want to come and be in their presence after that has happened? Would you be forgiving? You know, would you want to sit down and talk to that person, or would you want them to be away from you quickly? And then my thing is, for Kenya, if you really felt like this girl was a threat to you and your daughter, why would you aggravate her by doing something like that? If you really thought that this girl would come and do whatever, you know, Why would you that's not the move that you would make, I would think, if you're really scared for you and your daughter. I'm just saying. You scared to the point where you feel like you got to defend you and your child, but you're going to do something to aggravate this person because ain't nobody going to be okay with what Kenya did if she did it to you. So again, I know there's a lot of Kenya fans out there, but just like Britt was wrong for what she said in that parking lot, Kenya was wrong for what she did. And Kenya, once you make a choice, you have to go either the legal route or the route that Kenya went. And had she thought about it, she would have still had her job. I think she was intending to shame Britt into leaving the show because for some reason she just did not care for her. I don't feel like Britt really did anything to her for her to kind of be shady to her. But, that's how Kenya does sometimes. She chooses who she wants to be shady with, like she did with Kim Fields. Because I think she does that when she feels like somebody is beneath her. Because we saw the same thing that she did with Portia. So, yeah, it's weird to me. Why would you even want to see somebody? Because like I know people watch P, right? But I don't want to see somebody that I know. You see what I'm saying? Like, why would you even want to see somebody that being in an explicit act, and then that's what's going on, and then you bring it to your event? You supposed to be focusing on your business. You was just sitting there crying to Kelly about how much you've invested in this business, and you risk it by doing this. It just doesn't make sense to me. But what y'all think? I mean, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, share all the good things. I'll see y'all in the next one. Talk to you later. Bye.